Can you be a successful influencer without showing your face? Let's chat about that on today's podcast. My name is Christina Dennis, and I've been a DIY decor content creator since 2009. What started as a passion for transforming drab spaces into vibrant havens has now turned into something bigger, something life-changing. I'm supporting our entire family with the income from the DIY Mommy blog, YouTube channel, and social media platforms. But it didn't happen overnight. It took countless hours of brainstorming, creating, and sharing content about what I love the most: budget-friendly DIY decor and home improvement projects. Now I'm ready to share all of my secrets, tips, and strategies that helped me turn my passion for DIY decor into a full-time career, supporting my family along the way. Are you ready to transform your hobby into a successful career? Welcome to the Six Figure Creator Podcast. Hello, and welcome back to the Six Figure Creator Podcast. Thanks for joining me again, and thank you so much for listening to the first two episodes of the new rebooted podcast, formerly Dear DIY Mommy. Again, I sincerely appreciate all of your listens, all of your shares, all of your comments on the social shares of the podcast, sharing with friends. I am feeling the love, and I really appreciate all of you, and I'm so happy that so many of you have found the last couple episodes interesting and I hope helpful as you grow your influencer business or consider starting a content creator business from scratch. Today I want to chat about something that I find extremely interesting as an introvert. And I know a lot of you are introverts as well. I just know this because a lot of creative people are introverts or ambiverts at least. I know there are some of you that are extroverts out there as well. So hello to you from us introverts. The question is, can you be a successful content creator without showing your face or even without showing your body? Is this even possible? Can this be done? This was actually a question posed by somebody in my Instagram broadcast channel. So if you go to my Instagram at the DIY Mommy, I have a couple channels, one that just shares some general news from the DIY Mommy, and then the other one sharing some things specifically for all of us that are growing our content creation business or want to be content creators. And I have a little question box there, so feel free if you're on Insta to go over there and pop in a question in the question box. Or you can also head to the sixfigurecreator.com/contact and send me your questions for future podcast episodes there, because I'm making this big list. I'm loving all these questions. I have my own things I want to chat about, but your questions are far more interesting so far. And yeah, I love this one. This was so good. So usually we assume that you have to have this perfect smile, this impeccable sense of style, new outfits, the quote unquote perfect body. You have to be outgoing. You have to have a camera ready face. But is this actually the case? Can you be a successful influencer without showing your face or even without showing your body? I believe the answer is an emphatic yes. So let's talk about that today. When I started my blog, The DIY Mommy, in 2009, I didn't show my face in any of the photos. So it was mostly just product photos, sharing the finished DIY pieces of like the baby things I was sewing and the little crafts and house things. I didn't even have a photo of myself on my about page. It was just an illustration of myself. And same sort of thing when I started my YouTube channel for the DIY Mommy in 2015. I showed my face a little bit on there in intros and a couple of interview style videos, but very rarely. I mostly produced those top-down shot style videos that showed me making various crafts or decorating. And when I did show up on screen, it was usually brief and honestly very awkward. And the narration was, a little awkward as well. If you want, I challenge you to go to my YouTube channel, The DIY Mommy, go to videos and sort it by oldest and watch my oldest videos from 2015. You will see the difference from me showing my face and how I showed up on video then to now, and it is a huge difference. It's huge. And as tempted as I am to delete or archive those videos, I actually think it's pretty neat to keep those and just every so often when I feel like I haven't grown as a creator or grown as a presenter or anything like that, I watch those old videos and I realize, okay, yeah, I have grown a lot. I definitely do a lot better of a job now with my narration and, how animated I appear on video than I do in 2015. So in 2013, and I chatted about this a couple episodes ago, I got my first blog sponsors and then my first YouTube sponsor in 2015. And this was well before I started more frequently showing myself in photos and videos. This is well before I did even any random fashion photos or videos or anything like that. So the takeaway from that for you is it's 100% possible to build a successful content creation business to actually bring in some money from sponsors without having to be seen. Maybe it's a little bit different now, but we'll go into it soon that it's not that different. The majority of my blog posts still, and my social media posts and my YouTube videos don't have my face or my body in them that much. And they do just as well, if not better, than the ones where you see me. That doesn't really bother me. I don't get offended by that. It's perfectly fine. Most of my videos on YouTube have me in the intro, but I do find it beneficial and more impactful to have less shots of me talking and more shots of me actually doing the decorating and the DIY, etc., even if it's just my hands doing it. When I first started the first iteration of this podcast in 2021, when it was called Dear DIY Mommy, I did play with sharing a video version of myself podcasting each episode. You can see a few of those on my YouTube channel. However, I quickly learned that I didn't want to do a video of myself talking. So now with these last couple episodes, I've just made a graphic to go along with the audio and uploaded those to YouTube because it is still beneficial to upload these podcasts to YouTube for me because they show up in YouTube Music, which is a really great way for me to share what I want to say through YouTube to a different audience. So for me, I'm just loving being able to sit here in my sweatpants with my messy hair, with a coffee, with my water. Right now, I just finished making 70 buns for Thanksgiving, and I'm attempting to make some pumpkin pie, and I have pie splattered all over me. And it's just a nice feeling to not worry about being judged for how I look. And I get judged for how I look all the time. I've had so many people say tons of things about how I look, about how much I weigh or what my teeth look like or how I sound. So it's just nice to be able to sit here and not have to worry about that and just chat with you. So the podcast for me right now, anyhow, is a much needed break from showing my face, showing my body. Maybe I'll change my mind again and do an interview style video to go along with this. Maybe I won't. I don't know. Let me know what you think of this. I would love to hear in the show notes. I will link them down below this podcast. Do you like to see people chat through their podcast? Does it not bother you? Do you generally listen to these on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube Music? I'd love to hear from you. So let's break down the influencer stereotype. Being an influencer or a content creator, this is ever evolving. So a few years ago, even up to 10 years ago, the term influencer was synonymous with models, with celebrities, people who had millions of followers on social media. But today, the landscape is so much more diversified. There's so many influencers that are actually choosing to remain anonymous or at least semi-anonymous and not really let you in on their personal day-to-day life. There are tons of examples of this, of successful influencers who have chosen to keep their identity under wraps. There's a popular ASMR artist on YouTube, GB. She only revealed her face after gaining tons of popularity. There's another YouTube channel called Practical Wisdom. I will leave both of these links in the show notes. This is a YouTube channel that shares tips and tricks on how to manage your money wisely, and it's just graphics, illustrations, slideshows with narration. We don't know who this is. We've never seen their face. So there are some benefits and there are some drawbacks of not showing your face on social. You can probably guess some of them, but maybe some might be something to think about. Some benefits is privacy. So if you don't show your face, you don't show your body, you can maintain a personal life that's separate from your online presence. You can avoid that scrutiny that often comes from being a public figure, which can get very tiring and it can really wear away at your self-worth if you let it. Another benefit is the focus is on your content. It's not on you. So when you don't show your face, the emphasis is placed entirely on the content, whether it's your writing, your DIYs, your decorating. And this can lead to just a deeper appreciation of your actual work without the distraction of a physical appearance. Another benefit is freedom of expression. When you are anonymous, you can kind of feel more of a freedom to express yourself. You might be more comfortable sharing your thoughts, your ideas, without a fear of being judged based on how you look. And then the final benefit that I think of not showing your face is that you could perhaps appeal to a broader audience. So people from different cultures, age groups, backgrounds might easily relate to your content because they aren't influenced by what you look like. I've also even seen people make videos without faces and without narration. So it's just them doing the craft, just the video, just some music, and that reaches an even bigger audience because you're not speaking any specific language. You're just making something, and people of all language backgrounds, cultures can enjoy your video. So those are some benefits, but there are definitely some drawbacks. The first, of course, is that you're kind of limiting that personal connection with your audience. If you're not showing your face, you're not showing your personality, it's really hard to connect. You can also potentially miss opportunities like personal appearances, maybe news appearances, or speaking at workshops or events, video collaborations. Those can be off limits if you choose to be anonymous. It's also harder to build trust with your audience because people tend to trust people they can actually see, right? So they can actually trust a face. It's easier for them to connect on a more personal level when they can see you. And then finally, there can also be potential misunderstandings when you're not showing your face. Lots of facial expressions can really kind of make people know what you're talking about, right? With a lack of facial expressions and visual cues, people can misinterpret what you are talking about. Think about those pros and cons and what makes sense for you. I prefer not to show my face. However, I do understand that people want to kind of know a little bit about me and where I'm coming from, and they do want to feel like they have a relationship with me as I share a little bit of my life and where I'm coming from. So I have shown my face, here and there over the course of the last several years, but honestly, my preference is not to. I think that just comes with being an introvert and also really trying to maintain some sort of boundary between my personal life and my business life. I feel like the content creation business makes it difficult to do that sometimes. For me personally, I just don't want to be constantly showing my face and speaking to my phone all day long. I would rather be, working and scheduling things out and then having private personal time with my family. So that's kind of where I'm coming from usually, and you might look at it differently. And it's a very personal thing. It's completely up to you. So whether or not you choose to show your face, you just need to make good content. You need to connect with your audience and provide value, whether it's entertaining, educating, inspiring. And if you can deliver good content that resonates with people, they're going to follow you regardless of whether they know what you look like or not. So for example, if you're a food blogger, your followers are probably going to be more interested in your recipes and cooking tips than your face. If you're a crafter, people want to see what you're making. They want to see the process. They want to see the before and the after. If you're a book reviewer, your audience wants to hear your thoughts on the books. They don't want to see your selfies. On the contrary, I have definitely seen people build an audience, a quick, loyal audience, because of their personality and because of just who they are, just because they're such a charismatic person or a funny person. And I think that's fantastic. That just hasn't been my experience. I'm a quiet person. I love to teach. I think I'm funny. I think I've said this before, but I think I'm funny, but not very many other people do. So I'm kind of trying to lean into my strengths as a teacher, as someone who wants to show people how to do things, right? As much as I wish I had an alter ego that was, fantastic at making people laugh and just, drawing people in with just how I look and my personality. That's just not me. I just want to make sure I give valuable content, and that's really what I want to do, whether I'm showing my face or not. It's also important, if you don't show your face, to still build a strong identity for your brand. And your brand is your content creation business. So this can be through a unique writing style, a distinct aesthetic for all your content, a consistent theme across everything. And that identity, that consistency, is what's going to make you stand out from the crowd and keep your audience coming back for more. So for example, maybe just using your own voice in every Instagram reel to narrate your videos. Even if you don't show your face, your voice is that brand identity. Or maybe you have a specific animation style or editing style or illustration style for your videos. Or maybe you use consistent colors or color grading in your video that really makes people remember who you are and identify who you are. There's lots of different ways other than showing your face and your body to build that strong personal brand and keep people knowing who you are and coming back for more. Engaging your audience is also crucial in this world of influencer marketing. Responding to comments, asking for feedback, creating a sense of community, and these are all ways to engage your audience without showing your face. People follow influencers because they feel a connection, not because they want to see somebody's face. And you can do that without showing yourself. You can be warm and friendly through your written words, through your spoken words, maintaining that sense of community with lots of questions, lots of answers, and just continually showing up for your community. So if you're looking for some ideas for content that you can create without showing your face, there's actually a lot. And you can just Google content ideas without showing your face, and there's going to be blog posts that come up with all sorts of ideas. But some are, number one, tutorials and how-to videos, and you can shoot them, whether it's photographing them or videoing them from the top down, or if you're doing it from the front, just from the neck down. Cooking blogs and videos, same thing. Just shoot your hands making stuff, or just, from the neck down. You can do home hack videos and blog posts, just showing your hands making things. Again, doesn't have to be your face. You can also do videos where it's just screen recordings and you're teaching people how to do something on the computer and chatting through how to do this with a screen recording. So, teaching them how to use Canva for graphic design or how to create a mood board or things like that. You could do a podcast like this one where you're just chatting and not showing your face, or you can do photo slideshow type videos. Blogging is fantastic if you are a little bit worried about showing your face. And in last week's episode, I talked about how important I think it is to have a blog. So that's a great start if you are nervous. So yeah, check out those things. Those are some ideas that you can do. If you have any other ideas, let me know in the comments of today's show notes so we can kind of help each other out. So with all that being said, can you be a successful influencer without showing your face? Absolutely. I totally think you can. You just need to focus on delivering that high quality content, build that strong brand identity, engage with your audience, and I think that you can be successful. I am an example of this. There are so many other YouTubers, bloggers that are an example of this. And if this is something that makes you feel more comfortable and you feel like it's more you should do this too. In the end, it's about being authentic, being passionate, and connecting, whether you show your face or not. So I would love to hear from you. Does the thought of having to show your face, is that something that holds you back from starting or growing your content creation career? Let me know in the comments of the show notes of today's podcast. You can find them at thesixfigurecreator.com, or you can click on the link in the notes below this episode. I also want to know, would you consider starting or growing your current influencer gig if the pressure of showing yourself was off? Does that change the game for you? I would love to hear from you. Thank you so much for listening to today's podcast. I hope you found it helpful. Stay tuned next Tuesday morning for another episode of The Six Figure Creator.